Hello friends! Today I want to talk about your luteal phase, which is also the PMS phase. It's the phase right before you bleed. I'll talk about what it is, when it occurs, and a few tips that you can use to really understand yourself and hopefully support yourself as well. So your luteal phase happens after you ovulate and before you bleed. It's usually about 14 days, but it can vary depending on when you ovulate within your cycle. This is the phase I like to relate to as your fall, your autumn. From ovulation, we're in a very yang place, so higher energy, a lot of outward focus and interest. With luteal, there can be it can feel like I just hit the ground, slowing down. And it's a yin phase, so this space is often, we might feel more inward, more introverted, less interested in social activity. Our energy is lower. We have a lot of progesterone pumping through our system, which can be that like sleepy, sedative hormone. We need more calories during this phase as women. Our bodies are preparing for pregnancy or our bleed. And in that, we need more nutrition. We literally need more calories. So if you're having a lot of cravings for sweets and stuff, take that as a sign that your body needs more nutrients during your... The luteal phase can be a very moody phase. A lot of friends and I love talking about the luteal phase because it is such a long time in a woman's cycle, and it often impacts us pretty intensely and the ones around us because we're less flirty, we're less open, we are a bit more rigid, a bit more moody, a bit more less tolerant, a lot less tolerant of all things. And the gift within this is we get to filter out things that are no longer working. I find during my luteal, I'm setting a bunch of boundaries. I'm realizing the areas of my life that are no longer working, that never felt good, but suddenly it's very loud. It's actually natural that our body sensations are amplified. So if you're suddenly wow, I'm feeling so much, you probably were feeling it before, it's just a bit amplified. So give yourself a lot of grace during this time. Honestly, I tend to sleep a lot or try to sleep a lot and nap a lot. I skip workouts, I do more yin yoga. Long walks I find very therapeutic for both my mental state and my body because it's not very strenuous. Often if I do intense HIIT workouts during luteal, it zaps me. And you'll know if you're syncing your workouts in a way that's supportive based on how you feel after. So if you do a workout during luteal and then you're tanked and even irritated or zingy, that's a sign that you did too much. If you feel a bit more calm and just blood flow, that's kind of what you're aiming for during luteal. I recommend you give yourself the permission to say no in this phase, whether that is no to a social event, no to things that you don't actually have to do within that time. If we think of autumn, it's everything is slowly going into winter. So it's not a quick transition, as in it's I think of luteal, I experience luteal as a cumulative. The closer I get to my bleed, the more intense these sensations can be. So be very gentle with yourself. And I find it's very helpful if you have a partner or a husband to let them know, get them cycle synced with you, because it can save your relationship. I noticed when I started doing cycle syncing, every month my partner and he and I were fighting during luteal, big, huge outbursts right before my bleed. And now we are wiser, because it's not necessarily like there aren't problems, but it's also not like, it's if you think about it, our bodies have more tension during that time. Before the release, basically we're just like building inside, and it's kind of like the perfect circumstance to have a fight or a tiff with someone. So be very mindful of how you're responding and reacting to things, and give yourself some breath, some grace before you respond. Or if you end up having a fight with someone, let it settle and come back and explain to them like, hey, I think there's some truth to this argument, and I think it's amplified because I'm very near my bleed. Don't shame yourself for this phase. This phase can feel crunchy, it can feel grumpy, it can feel moody, it can feel pretty much everything. And when we put that PMS label, which feels so rude, on luteal, we lose the gifts of it. And I find the gifts are, one, the truth speaking. So whether it's in a regulated way or a fierce way, oftentimes boundaries and truths come out because it's more amplified. You're more attuned, and there's less tolerance for like, oh, like, it's okay. Like, I always feel like the people pleaser in me like gets scorched, gets drowned during my luteal, because there's no more space to simply be nice to be nice. It's like, hello, no, that was not okay for me. The most powerful tool in this whole cycle syncing journey is understanding without trying to change. And supporting yourself is great, but don't expect yourself to change just because you're giving yourself the right things for each phase. It might help you feel better, yes. And the first step in this whole cycle syncing thing is just noticing, attuning, understanding, and giving again and again each month grace to yourself during your luteal phase. I absolutely lower the intensity in my workouts a lot. So I like Pilates, yoga if I feel up for it, the walks like I mentioned. Strength building can be really great in the first week of luteal, because our bodies are more adept for building strength, but slow muscular workouts, not intensity. And you can explore, like you can try a HIIT workout during luteal and see how you feel. If you feel like you just died, that's good signal. I find one of the most rejuvenating things during luteal is one, like permission to be alone. Get out your favorite book, turn the lights down, and truly rest. That often, like that little irritated energy that can come up in luteal, is because we're trying to do too much when our body is trying to slow down. Another thing I find useful during luteal is being with women, because women get it. We're cycling, we're experiencing this every month. And honestly, my favorite thing is having the women around me that are cycle synced and aware of their cycle. When I say I'm luteal, they're like, oh, like she's luteal. Like it's a whole thing. And often the women closest to you, you'll get synced with, which also gets pretty weird, pretty cool. So yeah, my whole intent in understanding your cycles is being more in tune with your rhythm that's already happening. And from there, you get to listen to yourself, and naturally there will be more harmony through your cycles just by embracing them. So this is a first step to that. One more thing I want to mention during luteal is eat warm, hearty meals. So think like stews. I love like potatoes or like beef potato stews, things that are slow cooked. We are more yin, so our womb is getting cooler. So we want to nourish it with some warmth to prepare for the bleed. I'm just coming up with all these things now. It's all coming through. One other thing is no cold plunging. Cold plunging, I have a lot of thoughts on that for women, and especially during the luteal, it can be kind of dangerous as far as your hormonal health. The best time to cold plunge would be follicular and probably peak ovulation, where you're the most resilient. So yeah, and I've experienced this in my own journey of trying to cold plunge during luteal and then having the worst cramps during my bleeds. So just be mindful of doing things that are slower, more internal, less exertion, and be gentle with yourself. When you have emotions come up, know that you're in your luteal phase. Doesn't mean your emotions are not true, but it does mean that you get to be curious about them and have a little bit of discernment. I hope this has been helpful. I have a cycle syncing guide that you can download for free. I created it so that you can start this journey of understanding your cycles, and honestly, all of this is just so fun for me. I think it's wild that as women, we are experiencing every season, every month. Like, subscribe, send this to a friend that y'all can giggle about your lutealing phase, and I will see you in the next video.